Hello and welcome everybody, what is going on? So I just wanted to make a quick video regarding Douglas Costa because it looks increasingly likely that he's actually going to leave Bayern during the summer. Now Juventus, they have come out themselves and written on their own website, you know, if a football team writes on their own website that they are actually pursuing somebody, then that means that that is most likely pretty much close to being done. Now all the newspapers, they have come out and they have said that Douglas Costa was allowed to speak to Juventus, that Bayern allowed Douglas Costa to speak to Juventus, and that they have found an agreement, that Juventus and Douglas Costa have found an agreement, and now the only thing that they're trying to find is an agreement between Juventus and Bayern himself. Bayern, we want 50 million euros. Juventus are willing to pay. Juventus are starting their bid, I should say, with 40 million euros. I'm saying probably 45. That's probably what we're going to end up with. We're probably going to end up in the middle. Good relationship, so that's why I think, you know, 45 million. I'd take in a heartbeat, in all honesty. I would take in an absolute heartbeat. But obviously the question is, what happened to Douglas Costa? And Douglas Costa is one of those divisive figures at Bayern. A lot of people didn't like him at the beginning because obviously we bought him instead of at that time it was Sané, and then it was Gabriel Jesus, and we bought Costa instead. A lot of people were complaining about that. A lot of people gave him a fair chance as well, obviously. The majority of people gave him a fair chance at the beginning. They saw what he could do and they saw his limitations, and then ultimately they didn't want him. I know a lot of people personally that were that are really big fanboys of him, that think that, you know, this season was an anomaly and next season he's going to prove to be very good again. And then there is my view. My view has changed a lot, to be fair, because I used to say give a player a chance, you know. This season when he struggled, I was saying, you know, give him a chance. He's just having an off year and whatnot. And it wasn't until the first leg, I think it was, the first leg against Real Madrid, that I was like, okay, you know what, I want him to go. And there's one single reason why: because I can forgive a player, you know, having an off season. I can forgive a player not having his best year and whatnot, or not being at the best of ability, or, you know, if he is put into a situation where he just isn't at that level, you know. But I can't forgive a player if he doesn't actually try. And against both matches really against Real Madrid, when he came on the pitch, he looked like he was 90 years old. He didn't track back, he didn't do anything, you know, he didn't run forward, he didn't sorry, he didn't try to do anything with the ball. And that is the area where I was like, you know what, no, that's not okay. So it wasn't really until those two games that I really thought, you know what, maybe we should sell him in the summer. And that's been my attitude ever since the Real Madrid games. Not because we lost, obviously, but because well, even not because he missed a golden chance, because otherwise I would have been mad at Vidal in that case. But no, these things happen and whatnot. You know, you can lose a game, you can win a game, whatever. That's football. But as long as you give 100%, then I won't. That doesn't matter to me. But obviously in that match, in those matches he didn't, and it was just a symbol throughout the whole season. But in those two matches when it mattered the most, that's when I noticed it. Yeah, that's when I really looked at it and I was like, you know what, this isn't just bad form, it's just bad attitude, and I don't like bad attitude. That's the one thing I don't want. So for me, that was for me personally the moment that I was like, you know what, we should sell him in the summer. But a lot of people obviously were a lot early with that. A lot of people said that a lot earlier. Now, I do want to say one thing though, and that is that a lot of people are saying that, you know, he had a very brilliant first year. And I used to be able to say mine, in all honesty. I used to think his first year was absolutely amazing. But I've actually, because I've like for the very first year, I've had most of the games saved, which I don't really do that much nowadays anymore. I don't really save games, so I watched most of it. Like I watched most of the matches from last season, 2 seasons ago, I should say. So not last season, this season, but the last season. I watched a lot of the matches again, and honestly, after the winter break, he wasn't actually that effective, in all honesty. So 2016, he wasn't effective at all, really. It was only really, like, if you look at even the stats, you know, it was only really the first 4 or 5 months that he was at Bayern where he actually looked really, really good. And after that, it was like his form just dipped and it just dropped. And it's kind of incredible and kind of mysterious to see why that happened. But I guess that's just the way it is. Maybe he played to a much higher standard than he is in the first 3, 4, 5 months. or maybe he just had a massive dip ever since, and he was just never able to actually get back onto that level. His stats aren't really that great, you know, just in general his stats aren't that great last season, this season, but he still had some very memorable games at Bayern, and just for that aspect I want to say, yeah, thank you, because like I said, it looks very, very likely that he's going to leave. It looks very, very likely that he's probably going to leave within this week and next week, so pretty much expect that. And I don't think it's going to take more than a week, in all honesty. I think by the end of this week, he'll probably have left. And I think we actually need to sell a few players, because obviously we've spent roughly, I think, 90 million so far this summer. I saw a tweet before on Twitter that we spent roughly 90 million. Obviously we spent 41, 42, whatever it was, on Tolisso. Then we spent, it was 20 million on Süle. Then it was 21 million on Coman. Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody, aren't I? Gnabry, obviously. I think 12 million it was. So we spent a lot of money on like these players. We've obviously sold Benatia, but you know, there are rumors obviously going around that we're still going after Alexis Sanchez. There are rumors coming out right now that we're going after Verratti, which I don't think is realistic at all, or that we're going after what's his name, Carrasco. Which all of them would cost a lot of money. All of them would cost at least 45 million euros, in my opinion. So that's why I think we're kind of actually trying to sell players right now. That's why I think trying to get 45 million for Costa to then perhaps spend 45 million on Alexis Sanchez or something along those lines. Is what I think is going to happen in the next 1, 2, 3 weeks. But yeah, I absolutely expect us to sell Costa within the next week. And then it's going to be quite interesting, because I think after next week, that's when we're going to see a lot of rumours come about, you know, with us being linked to players. I think after Costa is sold, the rumours will skyrocket, in all honesty. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what the next few weeks entail. But I will see you guys then, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out, everyone, and have a nice day. Bye.